Hey folks, Matt Ryder back at you for the evening edition of day 3 of National Poetry Month. I'm reading some poems from my collection. Went through my collection today and saw how horribly alphabetically out of order they are, so I might be going back and forth. I shouldn't have really committed to the alphabetical system the first day of the readings. I'm going to go back and forth, it doesn't really matter. Today I'm going to read some poems by two poets today. The first one, John Berryman, Henry, as his alter ego is known. And I often tell my students that, titles in poems are extremely important. Sometimes the title will hook the reader in and get them interested in before they even hit the poem. This poem struck me. I'm not sure why it struck me. The title struck me for some reason. For those of you who don't know me, I'm middle-aged and I play a lot of tennis. So for some reason, this title struck me. It's called Tennis in Middle Age. I double fault. I double fault. I double fault. Oyes, my wife, can serve in the court, and I could cream her serves. She wins, ever Henry slumps. I hurt with all this losing, and the universal rubble, and the absence of her curves. To be continually beaten by somebody absolutely no good. Oh, Ellsworth Vines, and Allison Danzig, and the subtle Perry, who threw his racket down in rage at the failure of a smash at Forest Hills, where Henry was a member in the semifinals with Johnny Hope Doig. The big serve, something rather less than in the rest of his game. No resources like Parker's backhand, the Australian bit. I ball-boyed for Helen Willis Moody. I pines, a gutter, my coach. I was rallying with her. What is fame? A lifetime working trips you over it. Oh, Ellsworth Vines. I'm going to have to go back and check out some of these references in here. I recognize some of the names, but I'm not sure what he's referring to. Part 2. With arms outflung, the clock announced 10:20. Dozens of demons sprang and preyed on Henry, all on a heavy morning. The baby was ill, the sky was dark, that I was id. Somebody put the sky on like a lid, somebody who was not returning. Oh, we'll wait, after all, the doubter and the rested all, on the night of the crucifying. Perhaps their dreams were something truly remarkable. Perhaps their dreams had to do with all this dying. But that was very lonely. Haldol and Sarax, phenobarbital, Vivactil, by day, by night, Tuniel and Thorazine kept Henry going like a natural man. I'm waiting for them to work, as sometimes they can, honey in the bloodstream. The third part of the poem, about tennis in middle age. Good words and irreplaceable. Serenade, Schadenfreude, Angst and Malheur. French word, I think. We need them. We bow to them. What raving genius in our past coined such wisdom? I cannot know, nor can you, my deep dear, you cannot know. They were ineffable. Who coined despair? I hope you never hear, my lovely dear, of any such goddamn thing. Set it up on a post, and axe the post down while the angels sing, and bury the stenchful body loud and clear with an appropriate toast. Who made you up? That was a thin disguise. The soul shows through. You are my honey dear. Come and come live with me. I can deal with everything but your eyes and tears. Tears I invented and put there during our mystery. Henry, I gotta find out now if Berryman was a member at Forest Hills Tennis Club and was a ball boy for Henry Willis Moody. Or maybe that was Henry and that was his dream, the character that he was creating in the poems. Maybe that was his dream of being a ball boy, but I'm going to find out a little bit more because, again, I like the poem title, Tennis in Middle Age. Okay, yeah, love that poem. Good poem. Glad I found it. Don't have many poems out there about tennis. I'm going to send this to the guy. I'm going to send that poem. That poem is dedicated to the guys at the Lincoln Park Tennis League. What's up, fellas? LPTL strong. All right. So yeah, I can't wait to get back out there and play tennis. It's an abomination what's going on outside, and I just want to get out there and hit the ball around. All right. Let me grab a little bit more water. Next poet that I'm going to read, and the final one for today. A couple short poems. Poet's name is Martin Corliss Smith. Recently came out with these Odious, Odious Horizons, some versions of Horace. Really wonderful book. I kind of have an affinity for short little poems because that's what I like to write myself. And this happens to be probably one of the more important people in my life poetically. I studied with Martin Corliss Smith from 2003 to 2000 to 2003 in Boise, Idaho. And he taught me a lot of lessons. He taught me what to do, what not to do. But probably the most important lesson he taught me, and his poetry was always amazing, but probably the most important lesson he ever told me was, not told me, but the best lesson I ever learned from him was, don't curb yourself. Love you, Martin. So this is in the beginning section of this poem book. There's no. I'm not sure what the title is. Just 1.2. All right, dear Mr. And this is actually pretty good right now. Pretty timely. Dear Mr. President, enough of the global warming and biblical floods. The brown Potomac rises to your door without the will of God. Our children will hear the cries of civil war. Who can call out to in who? Let me go back. Who can we call out to in guilt and fear? Ours is a culture built on war. We made our foe, and if we win another one, well done. Sorry, I fucked that up, Martin. Next poem I'm going to read is dedicated to Tom Rayworth. Like Robin Blazer, when I was in Idaho, Martin Corliss Smith got Tom Rayworth, a friend of his, to come from England to do a reading in Boise, Idaho, and one of the most amazing nights I ever spent hanging out, talking to him. I'm probably gonna locate his book because I gotta read some of his poems. So this poem is dedicated to Tom Rayworth, and may he rest in peace. 1.3 to Tom Rayworth. What car guide you drive off, you half man? New heart, stronger than calm waves, deep ills or pills? No country for young men, stealing fire and fevers. You drive off the bridge. Fuck this. I'll fly. Okay. All right. Short one. We're just going to end on this one because this one's got a punch at the end. Classic Martin. This would be 17. Yeah. 111.17. So I'm not good with numbers. 3.17. I'm not sure. This is why I have dyscalculia. Anyway, here's the last poem. Everybody enjoy your. Everybody stay clean, stay healthy, and make sure you love the people that you're with, especially when you're isolated with them. And this is kind of a dedication to that. Tomorrow's forecast isn't good. Fill up the fridge, stack the wood. Make sure your home insurance is paid up. Open a beer, go, and get laid. Have a good evening, folks.